Oh, what is going on, Ada Nation? Welcome back to App Central. My name is Fareed. Today, we're breaking down the latest updates going on in the macro crypto market, as well as within the Cardano network. Now, as a part of the first segment for today's video, I want to take a brief review of two macro events within the blockchain space, which one of them I think has major potential to drive crypto to the next level. Now, the second story there within the macro news update will be surrounding SBF or Sam Bankman-Fried. Now, after that, we're going to jump into some updates surrounding Lenfi and the fact that they now have their V2 version code out for audit by Anastasia Labs. And then we're going to see exactly how the team was able to fund this particular code audit. Now, after that, we're going to jump into some brief updates surrounding LQ or Liquid, which is a DeFi lending and borrowing protocol, which initially kicked off on Cardano, and they're now expanding and integrating SPOs as a part of their ADA delegation third cohort. So I want to touch on that particular vote, and then we're also going to take a look at their monthly stats. Now, after that, we've got some exciting news surrounding Axo. Many of you within the comments have been asking me if there's any updates coming out from the Axo team, and we now have a little bit of a teaser and an update on their development progress. Now, last but not least, we're going to be jumping into a brand new project, which is called Butane, which is aiming to be another synthetics platform being built on Cardano. If you're not familiar with what a synthetics platform is, we already have Indigo, which allows for members within Cardano to get price exposure or to be exposed to assets that aren't native to Cardano, which include Bitcoin, Ethereum, and IUSD. So that said, let's go and jump straight into the very first topic here for today's video, which is going to be the macro news. So the first piece of news here that I have to touch on is going to be the fact that PayPal officially has their own USD or their own stablecoin. So it states here, today we're unveiling a new stablecoin, PayPal USD or PYUSD for short. Now it's designed for payments and it's going to be backed by highly liquid and secure assets. Starting today and rolling out in the next few weeks, you'll be able to buy, sell, hold, or transfer PYUSD. Now, I believe that PayPal is one of the biggest payment platforms right now on Earth. And the fact that they're integrating stablecoins is going to be huge. I want to just take a quick second to pause it on this particular screen here, where it shows what we can actually do with some of these new features. So number one, you'll be able to transfer to compatible wallets. Number two, you'll be able to use their PYUSD for peer-to-peer payments. Number three, to fund your checkouts or your purchases made online. And then number four, to easily convert to other crypto. What positive news here when it comes to this particular segment. Again, I personally use PayPal to make multiple payments, not only for things within the crypto realm, but for things outside of crypto. And they're one of the most used platforms when it comes to sending payments online. So to see them integrate a stablecoin, I think is going to be huge here. And this may give us the initial liquidity boost that we need when it comes to adoption from Web 2 platforms. Again, we're waiting on an answer for ETFs, which have been filed by some of the biggest names here within the traditional finance space. And this is just another step bringing us closer to mass adoption, again, from the Web 2 people that are now shifting slowly but surely into Web 3. So imagine being able to transfer your PYUSD to a Cardano wallet or to an Ethereum wallet. I think right now they're supporting Ethereum, but this is just the beginning, right? We could expect that over the course of multiple months or maybe over multiple years that they'll begin to expand out and make their reach a little bit better, given the fact that, maybe they have some success on a particular network, or we just begin to see more activity and adoption pushing towards PayPal because of this now new stablecoin. So I think this is amazing news overall. We did see a little bit of a pump once this news is actually released, but I did want to cover it here because this was released on August 7th. So it isn't necessarily new, but it is something that I did skip over that I wanted to make sure and cover here, given the fact that it is a pretty big announcement for the crypto space. Now, the ability to send P2P payments, again, they've already supported this with traditional fiat currencies. I live in the United States and I've been using them to send US dollars, but to now be able to do this with a stablecoin opens up a whole new layer of utility. Again, imagine platforms like Lenfi, like Meld, which all allow for you to interact with other peers or lending pools on the Cardano network. You're now going to be able to do a very similar thing with your PYUSD. Now, third there at the bottom, to check out or to fund your own purchases. Again, imagine just holding some of these crypto assets, and maybe you don't want to hold fiat, right? You can actually use this to finalize and check out a particular item or purchase being made through PayPal. Now, I know, for example, on platforms like Amazon, you can actually go ahead and shop. And then if you want to go ahead and pay with a regular credit card or a PayPal account, you can do that, right? So this is now going to potentially give people a new use case to actually use their PYUSD. And then very lastly, I think this is huge, being able to convert over into other crypto. This is going to just basically open up a floodgate of additional use, right? Because now if the PYUSD token is used or available on the actual platform, this means that they're comfortable enough to begin kind of dabbling into crypto, and hopefully this opens up the gate for them to adopt other assets which aren't necessarily tied to stable coins or to a particular index. So the hope will be to see, other tokens, for example, Cardano, Ethereum, Bitcoin, etc., being listed on the official PayPal platform. That is going to do it there for that very first story that I wanted to touch on here for today's Cardano Scoop. The next one here is going to be a pretty short one, but I did want to highlight it nonetheless. And this is basically touching on SBF, or Sam Bankman-Fried, who's now been jailed for tampering with evidence. So this was released about, let's see here, a day ago. So on August 11th. And I'm extremely surprised with this because he was under surveillance. As many of you know, he ran FTX, which basically took a lot of users' funds, used them inappropriately, and left the users kind of paying the tab, right? A lot of people actually have yet to even get anything back in terms of funds that were locked on the platform. And since then, they've undergone a restructuring, bringing on a brand new CEO, which has actually attempted to reopen up the exchange. Now, whether or not I'll be supporting it if they reopen, I don't think is even in question. I mean, a platform like this that has this kind of track record, I don't think needs to reopen. But if they're able to recoup some of the funds, that is great to at least make the people whole. So I would love for them to make the people whole. But in terms of them actually relaunching and reopening the platform, I think they should definitely keep it closed. Again, given their reputation. And if people are willing to go back and use a platform like this that has that kind of track record, then I think they need to assume all of the risks. Now, jumping back into this story here with Sam Bankman-Fried, it is unfortunate to see him being jailed again, but I'm wondering, what has he actually tampered with? From my understanding, he's had very little connection to the internet. He's been under surveillance at a particular place, basically under house arrest. So for him to somehow still be able to manipulate and be jailed a second time for tampering with evidence kind of raises eyebrows for me, but I'm glad that he's not above the law, right? He's still able to be prosecuted, and we're going to see him, I think, going to trial over the course, of the next few months. So I'll be keeping an eye out on this, but I did want to bring this to you guys' attention if you guys have been following this, or if you guys were part of FTX as a whole when that particular platform came down in around November of 2022. So that is going to do it there for that macro news section. Let me know if you guys do appreciate content like that. I may actually begin to incorporate some of those macro updates moving forward, given the fact that, sometimes we do have lulls within the Cardano network, and I don't want to push out content for the sake of pushing out content. But if there are updates, which apply to the broader crypto space, whether they're positive or negative, I'm more than happy to cover them here on the channel. The next piece of news I want to jump into is going to be surrounding Lenfi. Now, this is going to be with respect to them partnering up with Anastasia Labs to go ahead and actually kick off their protocol V2 version of their code Audit. Now, if you guys are not familiar with Lenfi, they're going to be a lending and borrowing protocol built on Cardano. I believe they were actually one of the first platforms to launch back in late 2021, or I think maybe mid 2022, actually, bringing on lending and borrowing in a peer-to-peer style fashion on the Cardano mainnet. So they're an OG in this space. They've been contributing greatly, and they've been providing a lot of value for anybody looking to put up collateral in order to borrow an asset, or just to earn passive income from allowing others to borrow their liquidity. Now, what they're going to be doing is upgrading to a protocol version V2, which is going to implement peer-to-pool lending, which basically removes any third party from having the ability to approve or deny your loan. So as long as there is a liquidity pool open and there's sufficient liquidity in there for your particular asset, and you have valid collateral, you can come at any time of the day or the night and actually get a loan from the platform. So a pretty big update there. Hopefully you guys can see the use cases for a peer-to-pool version of the protocol, and keep in mind that they will still keep the P2P or the peer-to-peer version of the protocol as well. So they're only adding benefits. They're not taking anything away. So this article on Official Medium reads, "We are excited to announce that Lenfi Labs, or Lenfi, has officially started its pooled lending protocol audit. The checkup will last 6 weeks and will be conducted by Anastasia Labs." Scrolling down, I have to touch on one key piece here as to how they're funding this actual code audit. To adequately address security and risk mitigation concerns, the audit was funded from the team allocation. What a bold move here, and what a selfless move coming from the Lenfi team, funding their own code audit using the token allocation, which is supposed to be dedicated to the team. Now, about a month and a half ago, I had a fully dedicated video breaking down the fact that the Lenfi team was aiming to use, I believe it was around 1.5 million ADA to actually market the V2 version of the protocol, which was coming from their official marketing wallet. So since then, it looks like they're no longer going to be tapping into that wallet for this particular code audit, but they are going to be setting some funds aside to make sure to properly promote this once it actually rolls out. So I commend the Lenfi team for doing this here and funding the code audit using their team wallet. The end goal here is to achieve high quality code execution for an added layer of assurance that their platform, or to make sure that their platform is safe and secure for all users. I completely agree with this mission, and I completely back them doing this the right way. You know, if the audit comes back and they have to make additional changes, that's all part of the process. But right now we're aiming for around a 6-week process. Now, how long they actually need to get the platform live on the mainnet after that, hopefully shouldn't be too long, because again, they do have a fully functioning test net, which I did review here on my channel, breaking down not only how to actually borrow, but how to provide liquidity, as well as how to create your own liquidity pool and a few other things. So check out that particular video if you guys are interested in finding out more about how to use the Lenfi platform V2. Now it states here in closing, currently our Lenfi pooled lending app is now live on the testnet and can be accessed using the following link. I'll go ahead and leave the link to my last video covering that, as well as the link to the official testnet. That is going to do it for that story touching on Lenfi. The next story I want to jump into is going to be surrounding LQ, or Liquid. And I want to just quickly congratulate some of the SPOs that have been chosen as a part of their third cohort for their ADA delegation. So we're now seeing more and more protocols utilizing the ADA that is actually locked on their platform. For example, we have MinSwap, which takes their liquidity pool ADA and stakes that to their min pool. We also have Indigo, which takes all of the ADA within their CDPs, or collateralized debt positions, and stakes those as well to keep them earning passive ADA. We've got Wing Riders doing a very similar thing with their LP ADA. And we now also have Liquid Labs, or Liquid Finance, which is also taking all of the ADA locked onto their platform in order to actually stake that or delegate that to SPOs to support the growing Cardano network. So we had a vote here that took place, and they're now congratulating 16 different SPOs. And there's one here that I'm very familiar with, which is going to be Clover. And so I just want to say congratulations to you, Clover. I know that this has been a huge step up here, and a big congratulations to what you're doing for contributing to the Cardano network. So I wanted to just quickly touch on that piece of news there. If you head over to their governance platform, they do have a fully dedicated page breaking down all of the pool fees, which include their margin, their live stake, their recent ROA, their lifetime ROA, their lifetime luck, and their declared pledge. And then you can actually see on the left-hand side there who has voted for what and how much of the voting power has gone towards a particular staking pool. The next piece of news I want to jump into surrounding Liquid is going to be touching on their monthly stats. So we're seeing more and more platforms releasing monthly stats. I've covered these for Indigo. I've covered these for Lenfi. I've covered these for the Levy Finance platform, and a few others that release these on a monthly basis, including Wing Riders. Now we're seeing, I believe, the first iteration of this for the LQ protocol, which now has over, at least in the month of July, 19 million ADA, or excuse me, $19 million locked in terms of TVL. We've got 60% of the LQ supply currently in circulation. And then looking at the top right-hand corner there, in terms of the total loan value, it looks like a lot of people are using the platform in order to take out loans for JED or a stablecoin. At the bottom left-hand corner there, we've got the total collateral value. So it looks like a lot of people are putting up ADA in order to borrow JED, with over 8 million ADA in terms of USD being used as collateral on the platform. Now, if we take a look at the bottom right-hand corner, if I get myself out of the way, in terms of the market utilization, we have some of the top utilized assets, which we can see JED leads the way with around 70% utilization. And then we've got IUSD at around 50% utilization. So a lot of people putting up their ADA on Liquid in order to borrow stable coins, at least in the month of July. That is going to take me through the update there surrounding LQ. Moving on to the next topic, I want to jump straight on into Axo Trade. Now, a lot of people have asked me to provide some updates surrounding Axo, and for the longest, there really wasn't much to provide because the team has just been so quiet, building in the background. Now, I want to shout out Paul here for grabbing this screenshot from the official Discord, but I want to go ahead and just share this with you guys here. And it basically breaks down two key pieces in terms of progress for the Axo Trade platform. So Axo Trade is going to be an order book style DEX building on Cardano, and they're going to be very similar to the Genius Yield DEX that we're also waiting for launch on, hopefully, at least on the testnet in the month of August. Now, what I'm going to be touching on here is going to be a brief excerpt that came directly from their Discord, giving us an update on their user interface and how much of the actual Axo Trade platform is ready to launch. So generally speaking, the testnet is going to come as a fully implemented protocol. What this tells me is that they're not just going to be releasing a portion of Axo Trade. Once we see it on the testnet, it's going to come with all of the full-fledged features. Now, they're going to be starting their audit or their code review, which basically states or means that the protocol level development is done as of today or as of when this message was sent within their Discord server. Now, when it comes to their user interface or their UI, it looks like they are mainly done, but they've left some things to beat on in the very last stages here. And these include non-critical updates, again, relating to some nice to have features or some quality of life features. So not anything that's going to break the bank and not anything that is going to make or break the protocol, which does make sense because, again, you want to make sure to identify or get all of the clear needs out of the way before you kind of touch on some of those nice to have or some quality enhancement features before you actually release the product. So that said, they are going to be launching their testnet very soon. I can confirm this myself that I have spoken from or with a member from the official Axo Trade team, reiterating the fact that they will be launching on the testnet very, very soon. That is going to take me through that particular update. Moving on to the very last story for today's Cardano scoop, I want to briefly touch on a platform called Butane, which is going to be a brand new synthetics platform building on Cardano. Now, if you guys have a link to their official website, please let me know down in the comment section below. I did do some digging around and I was not able to actually see an official link, but I did want to highlight what their proposition is, or at least is going to be for the Cardano community. So it reads, Butane Synthetics will be an open protocol with no locking or requirement for batching. Now, batching has caused some issues and some heartache here in the last week to week and a half with the Musi swap debacle, where a batcher appears to have accumulated over 1.5 million ADA from basically taking a portion of some of the trades that were coming on the platform. So they're making sure to address the fact here with the launch of Butane that, number one, not only will it be an open source protocol, but number two, they're not going to have a requirement for batchers. So two really good things to kind of hit on there, at least in their introduction to the Cardano community. Now, there will also be atomic liquidations, unlike any existing on a Cardano protocol. I assume here they're taking a shot at the Indigo protocol because, again, they're the only other synthetics platform that we have in competition for the Butane protocol. Now, very lastly, they're aiming to provide a simple fee structure. And again, I don't have any additional details surrounding a website or a white paper just yet, but I do know that they are going to be launching here on the Cardano network. So I'll be keeping you guys updated to all of the developments or as to what is going on with Butane moving forward, especially as they release more information surrounding the protocol. Now, lastly, it states our goal is to entirely rethink what efficiency means on Cardano. If you're excited for all these brand new projects building on the network, let me know down in the comment section below. Will you be supporting and using a platform like Butane? And if so, what are going to be the use cases, or what assets are you going to be looking forward to seeing coming on a platform like that? So that's going to do it for today's Cardano Scoop. Again, touching on some of the macro news, including PYUSD from PayPal, some updates there surrounding SBF. We also touched on Lenfi, LQ, Axo, and Butane. If you have any questions surrounding anything that we touched on as a part of today's video, please make sure to go ahead and leave a comment down below. If you guys enjoy content like this and you want more of it, consider subscribing to the Dapp Central YouTube channel, bringing you guys the latest updates, news, reviews, and tutorials going on in Cardano. And if you found anything to be helpful here, I would appreciate you if you could tap that like button. That said, I will see you guys in the next video.